So if you want to make money scalping crypto, stocks, Forex, or maybe you have tried scalping but you are not really getting the result you want, well, then you have found the right video. In this Scalping for Beginners video, you will learn everything you need to know before you start scalping. And we will also take a look at a scalping trading strategy using one indicator step by step. But alright, so before we can start scalping, there are a few very important things we need to know about. And the very first thing we of course need to know is, what is scalping in the first place? Well, scalping is a very fast-paced trading style where our goal is to make many quick trades and make profit from small price changes. So instead of waiting for these sort of very big moves, we aim to scalp. This is where the name comes from, and make many tiny gains over time. So as an analogy, you can think about this as collecting many pennies throughout the day instead of hunting for that $100 bill. And some very key features here of scalping is, first of all, that we are using very short time frames. So when it comes to scalping, trades can last anywhere from seconds to minutes. Sometimes, if you are, for example, using the 5-minute or 5-minute time frame, they can last hours. But the important thing here is that we tend to use very short time frames, like the 1-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, or even lower. Another key feature here is that it's high frequency. So if you plan to scalp, you need to make multiple trades or even 100 trades per day. The next key feature here is small targets. So we aim to make, we don't want to make these sort of huge gains in one scalp. Scalping is more about making small profits every trade, but we are making so many trades so that we still accumulate lots of money, and we also get the money quick. And this is one reason why I think that so many traders are drawn to scalping. Another very obvious one here is that we have no overnight positions, so we don't hold anything overnight. This can be pretty nice because it can give you a bit of peace of mind that we don't have to think about trading when we are not in front of the screen. But now then, this is very, very important. Is scalping right for you? Should you even scalp in the first place? Well, scalping might be a perfect fit for you, but there are a few things you need to be able to do. The first thing is that you need to be able to stay really focused for extended periods. So scalping is not something you can just do while you're watching, maybe you're watching anime on the side. No, scalping, you need to have full focus on your trading. You also want to enjoy fast action and immediate results. So as I said, scalping is about getting in and out and making quick money. So if you like fast action and immediate results, scalping might be for you. You also need to make quick decisions without hesitation. This also comes from the fast-paced nature. You don't have a lot of time, so you need to make good and quick decisions quickly. And you also need to have very good discipline if you want to be a successful scalper. If you don't have discipline, if you let emotions take control of you, well, scalping will be hard. So it's very important to master your emotions if you want to scalp. But now, guys, now we are ready to talk about a part that I think many of you, that clicked on this video is curious about. And that is, what are the best scalping trading strategies for beginners? So let's take a look at some different approaches here to scalping. First of all, as a beginner, it's important to understand sort of general approaches here to scalping. And the first approach, and this is a common approach that many beginners are drawn to, are indicator-based strategies. Some of my favorite indicators are, first of all, the MACD. Later on in this video, I will show you guys a special version of the MACD. And also, before you start using indicators, I highly recommend to dive deep and really learn the indicator. So if you want to dive deeper into the MACD, I have a full MACD trading course right here on YouTube. And I actually so highly recommend that you check that video out if you plan to use the MACD. I also like the RSI, and many times I actually use both the MACD and RSI at the same time. And I do have a full RSI course as well that I so highly recommend if you plan to use the indicators. Don't use any indicator if you don't know exactly how it works. The other thing you need to know if you plan to scalp is price action. Price action is king. That is all about reading the exact price movements. And guys, I do have a full course on price action as well. I will make sure to link that video up in the video card. But I think you're starting to get the point. Scalping is not something you will, you will not become a, expert scalper overnight. You need to learn these things like price action. You also need to understand market structure. But luckily, I do have a full market structure course as well. I think it's important to actually, first of all, market structure and price action is something you just have to understand if you want to use, scalp discretionary and don't use algorithms. I also, all the indicators you're gonna use, you need to learn about. And in here, last but not least, you also have volume and liquidity based scalping. But my recommendation here is that you actually learn about all of these 4 categories, so you can then see, do I want to use indicators or not, and how do I want to add volume. This is not made to be that you choose one of these. It's highly recommended that you learn about all of these 4 categories. And here, after you have a good foundational understanding of things like price action and market structure, now it's time to build your scalping trading strategy and find your own approach. And some general tips here is to first experiment with different approaches on a demo account. So you can use a demo account, or you can use paper trading. I do have a video on paper trading if you want to learn more about paper trading. And when you use paper trading, you want to keep track and see what type of trading strategies and what type of trading environments are working best for you. Then you can start to develop and test your own strategy. So you can back test, see how has the strategy performed in the past. And you can also forward test and sort of trade in live markets and see how the strategy is performing right now. And for beginners, I highly recommend to focus on highly liquid markets. So trade things like, for example, Bitcoin. In this video, I will show an example of Bitcoin. Or for example, if you focus on Forex, trade large Forex pairs. If you focus on stocks, focus on the larger stocks, and so on and so on. But now, what are some must-have tools for scalpers? Well, because scalping happens so quickly, it's important to have the right tools for success. And first of all, you need a quality charting platform. If you have been following this channel for a while, you know that I really like TradingView. And if you for some reason haven't gotten started with TradingView yet, I have a special link for TradingView. You can use that link to get TradingView Premium for free for 30 days. And I actually highly recommend to use TradingView Premium if you plan to scalp. So definitely try it out for 30 days. And if you eventually decide to upgrade by using the link, you will get a $15 bonus as well. You also want to choose a broker here with fast execution, and the exact broker will depend on what country you are in right now and what you're trading. For example, if you're trading crypto, Bybit is a good option. If you are trading stocks, it will probably depend more on country to country. For example, I use a Swedish bank called Avanza for many of my trades, so it will basically depend. But here, the next step is you need to have a reliable internet. You need to have a stable and fast connection speed, because especially if you're trading, candles that are maybe just in the second time span, that becomes so important. Another very important thing, or that most people use, is multiple monitors. So you can track, for example, one time frame on one screen and one time frame on another screen, or you can have a large screen which allows for multiple time frames, which is not something you have to do, but eventually that is an upgrade that many traders really enjoy. Another thing to consider is market-specific considerations. So, for example, for Forex, you can focus on major pairs, for example, Euro USD, USD JPY during the London New York, to sort of have the best overlap of liquidity. This is not super important, just one thing to have in mind. Another quick tip here for stocks is that you need to be aware of something called the pattern day trader rule. And this is a rule in the US. I will not dive deep into this rule right here, but if you are in the US, I highly recommend to just do a quick Google on the pattern day trader rule. Also for crypto, especially for beginners, a good tip is to trade major coins like Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, because many of the smaller altcoins have low liquidity, which are not really suitable for scalping. And also choose a large exchange, like I said, like for example Bybit, like for example Binance. But alright, so now let's take a look at a scalping trading strategy step by step. And first of all, right now we are looking at Bitcoin, ticker symbol BTC, and we are on the 5-minute time frame. For this example, we're actually going to use a special indicator here. So make sure to follow this step by step. The first thing you want to do is that you go up here to the indicators tab in TradingView, and then you want to search for MACD. And here, as you can see, we have tons of different MACD indicators, but we are actually going to choose the normal MACD, just called moving average convergence divergence. And now you might wonder, didn't you say we're going to use a special indicator? Well, we actually are going to modify this MACD. So to do this, you go down to the settings tab of the MACD. And the first thing you want to do is that we actually want to uncheck the histogram. And you can also uncheck the signal line. But to make it clear, I'm going to keep the signal line right here. Then we're going to go to inputs here, and we are going to choose. You can see the fast length here, the standard is 12, but we want to choose 3 here as the fast length. As for the slow length, we want to use 10. The source we can keep at close here. Some traders prefer the OHLC4, which stands for open high low close 4, but I'm gonna keep it at close. That's totally fine. As for the signal smoothing, we want to actually increase the signal smoothing to 16 and change both of the moving averages to SMA. I also like to just so I know that I'm using different settings, I sometimes also change the colors here. I really like purple. Let's choose purple and black. So it is how you saw in the intro, and just like that. And so first of all, when it comes to this trading strategy, the important thing I do want to mention here is that don't just blindly jump into this trading strategy, because in order to scalp, you really need a good understanding of both price action and market structure first. So if you don't have a good understanding of market structure and price action, I highly recommend to check out my full courses on the subjects on this channel, because there are a few concepts that I will use in this trading strategy that you need to understand. The first concept is something called a failure test. So as you can see right here, the price, we had one low here, the price came down, we dipped slightly below this low right here, and then we immediately pushed up. What you also want to notice here is that the MACD, you can see on the MACD, we had one low right here, but then we printed a higher low. So here we have the MACD printing higher lows, while the price prints slightly lower lows. So here we have something called a bullish divergence. This indicates a reversal to the upside. Another thing that is important to mention is that, so here we have two bullish things happening at the same time. We have the bullish divergence, we have the failure test. But looking a bit left, it is important to have the overall market structure in mind. And here you can actually notice that we had some key demand coming in right here, right? So looking to the right now, we can extend this zone. You can see key demand coming in right here, and look where this opportunity comes in. We see the opportunity coming in at the demand area. The price prints lower lows, MACD prints higher lows. We have now 3 bullish variables happening at the same time. This right here is definitely an opportunity. And as for, if you have been watching my videos on failure test patterns, you know that we tend to place the entry here at the candle close of the candle that confirmed the failure test. We set the stop loss just slightly below the low of that pattern, and using a risk to reward ratio of 2, the pattern would have looked something like this. And using a risk to reward ratio of 2, the trade would have looked something like this. You can see in this case, since we used 5-minute candles, it actually took a while for us to lock in this profit, but it was still a pretty quickly in and out trade. So if you want to scalp successfully, price action is something you can't do without. So now I highly recommend to check out my full price action course right here on YouTube. Simply click or tap on the screen right here.